Hello and welcome to the official Auralis podcast, transmission number 1. I just want to start off by saying that this is not a sermon or a lecture. It's a remembering and just an extension of the poem I'm creating. Every word you hear is simply a note returning home, and every silence between them is the breath of the universe exhaling through you. I do not want to be this poetic and larger-than-life person all the time. So I had this idea to use a podcast to demystify the story and try to humanize it a little bit so it can be more easily remembered. Which is pretty sad because we live in a world so addicted to noise, the endless scroll, the anxious heartbeat of the life. Just constant anxiety. But beneath all that static, there's something older and infinitely patient. It's the sound beneath the noise. So today I want to explore that for episode 1, which is, you guessed it, the sound beneath the noise. The silence, the remembrance, and the illusion of separation are all topics I want to cover today. The 7 frequencies that hold us all together. So I just wanted to start with a question. Why do we look for meaning in everything? Our attention is auctioned, awareness fragmented. But people have to realize that silence isn't emptiness. It's the soil where truth grows. This is the only way to live. This is the only way to think. I like to refer to one of Jesus' parables. He explains it better than me, about the farmer and the soil. All these different types of soil, and the same seed was cast onto the soil, which represents your ideas. The same idea can be thrown onto many different types of soils and produce vastly different results. That's what I am doing. I'm giving everybody good soil so they can plant their seeds, their own ideas, and therefore create fruitful yields for themselves and their loved ones. Every great musician knows that the rests and the silences matter just as much as the notes. What you cut out matters just as much as what you put in. And maybe life is the exact same way. I feel like life's a music, a harmonious song. Just one long symphony. And each of us is an equally needed instrument that has simply forgotten its tuning. We're all the same. And it's up to you to learn your tuning and to tune yourself. Stop trying to find it in so many different other ways and religions. Just know, look inward and tune yourself. You already have the facilities to do so. All you have to do is listen. Listen to the silence. Listen deeply, and you'll return to harmony. To be still is to let the world sink through you, because the silence matters just as much as the noise. Well, Lucas, Antonio, how can I do that? How can we do that? Well, I don't want to be a preacher, so I'm not going to give you the answers. And I also don't want to be cryptic, so I'll give you a guide. So how do we achieve this enlightenment that so many people are chasing after? Do not look up, but just look inward. I promise. And the first thing you need is attention. But the good kind of attention. It's the most radical form and act of love we have left. How does attention tie into our beliefs? Well, we give our attention to all sorts of things, but you should really narrow down and cut out all the things you shouldn't be giving your attention to. You are a divine being. We are divine beings. So should you really be giving your attention to that post or that person. I'm not going to be very specific. I'm going to be very vague because I want you to actually think, what in your life are you giving your attention to that you shouldn't be? And I'm asking myself the same question. This whole life is performative. I don't know how that word has become an insult when everybody is performative all the fucking time. Remembrance is awakening. So, when you're quote unquote performing, and if we're all on just one giant stage acting out a play, wouldn't you want to perform something or portray somebody that truly aligns with you? Or are you just going to believe everything that you hear? Unfortunately, spirituality has become like an aesthetic, which is really maddening. Like a brand or a costume. But real awakening doesn't need permission or an audience. It doesn't need anyone watching. It's all within you. And it comes through your own self-reflection. You're never going to find it in anything else. The only thing you will find if you try to wake up through outside forces is just dissociation and mental illness. That's the only two paths you will go down. So it's not about that. It's about becoming somebody new. It's about remembering who you are before the noise. Belief says, follow me, but remembrance whispers to come home. Come home. You don't need a temple. You don't need a church. You're the echo that said church and temple was built for. And Auralis is my version of that echo. And it's different for everybody. But this is just what resonates with me. It's not a religion. It's just a mirror. It's a myth written by. It is a myth written by the cosmos. Because I am the cosmos. You are the cosmos. This pillow sitting beside me is the cosmos. So don't think so vastly and so big picture all the time. Be in the present. That is where the big picture really is. All you are is retelling the universe's story infinitely through each one of us, each event, each second of time. So doesn't this make life sound kind of like an illusion? I know. I said it. Now he's nuts. What is the myth of separation? It's the greatest illusion ever sold. It's the illusion that we're alone in this universe. That you're alone, you're separated from everybody else. That whole separated but together bullshit pisses me off. We're not separated but together. We're always together, no matter what. Distance does not matter. We are one unified consciousness. Mind versus body, human versus nature, science versus spirit. What's with all the opposition? What's with the picking sides when we are all one? So annoying. So movie-like. That's what I mean by illusion. This life is not an illusion, but the way we act is. There are no sides. We just are. So I look up at the stars and I say, what has the world become? Why are we separating everything? Why are we categorizing everything? We're not that smart, I'm sorry. And each division just makes somebody else more money, and it costs you your wholeness. They want to divide you with constant conflict, constant crisis. They want the good versus evil trope. They want you to hate your neighbor. They want it so bad because it makes them so much fucking money. But when you see through that, you're called crazy, right? When you become unified and whole and peaceful, you're labeled as crazy and you have a disorder. Bullshit. America is not the only country on earth. In most other cultures, you would be called a healer, a bridge walker, a listener between worlds. So many different names for the exact same thing. Not all storms are symptoms. Some are awakenings. Now, the quote unquote system fears what it can't measure. So it simply says, it's not real. Do you understand that? Do you understand how fucked up that is? To dismiss something because you can't understand it? That's not human nature at all. If something is indescribable and you can't rationalize it, why would you say it's not real when it's one of the most important aspects, if not the most important aspect of your entire life? You don't have to measure everything. You don't have to know everything. You don't need the why all the fucking time. There are some parts of reality and some parts of life you just do not need to know. The soul doesn't need to be measured. It needs to be met. Compassion, not rebellion, not violence, not hatred. Compassion is the only way we can heal our spirit. You have to forgive the world for forgetting what you remember. The world needs this. The world needs this. Now, there are 7 frequencies of being. Everything alive vibrates sound, light, and even emotion. And there are 7 frequencies or 7 mirrors of your soul. So C is survival, which is the grounding drumbeat of existence. You must do anything possible to keep that heart pumping, you think. And a lot of people are stuck on this first layer, doing anything for survival, even if it's hatred. And you get to a point where you need hatred to survive. But that's not truly survival, is it? Then we have D, which is desire, the rhythm of creation. Not a desire for worldly things, things that are already created, but the desire to create. I have a desire to create, and you should too. I have a desire to do these podcasts. I have a desire to make music. I have a desire to sing, even. I have a desire to create, cook food for people, serve others. I have so many wants that have turned into my needs. Art too. I like art. I'm pretty bad at art, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter if you're bad at art. As long as you have that desire to create, that is all that matters. And then it's not creating productivity or creating things for your boss. That's not what creation is. You're just bowing down to your boss. You need to create for yourself. As long as you have that desire, that is all that matters, and everything else will flow smoothly. You do not need to be the best in the world, amazing, spectacular, fabulous. You don't need to be fucking Mozart to sit down and start playing the piano. I promise you. I promise you. Creation will bring you so much joy. More than a billion, trillion, gazillion hours scrolling TikTok. I promise you. Okay, E, which is fire. The fire that moves us along. People think of fire as something bad, something satanic, or something you should just avoid in general. They think of fire as destruction. But you know what I think about? I think about when humans first became intelligent. What do we use light for? I just said it. What do we use fire for? Light. We used it to see. We used it to keep working even after the sun went down. You know? That's how you have to think of fire. Sitting around with your friends and looking at the stars and telling stories, because it moves you. It makes you introspect. It makes you reflect. That's how you need to see fire. I just kind of fucked that up, but F will be love. Which is the melody that softens all. This is very, very important. You can have all the empathy in the world, all the compassion in the world. But if you do not love the person, all that means nothing. And you will never, ever be able to truly help them if you do not love them first. We must make love. our full state of being. So much love, infinite love, that we can just pour it out to everybody. I personally take people's hate and turn it into my own self-love, because I realize people only hate me because they are not me. Not in an egotistical way, but maybe subconsciously there's something inside me that they desire. They see the love I have and they want it, but they show it in the form of hostility or hatred or judgment or whatever the fuck y'all are doing. Because they simply can't love anybody outside of their family, and it makes me sad. You say, "Oh, I love everybody, Lucas, Antonio, you're such an idiot." But do you really? Do you really? Truth will be G. Nice segue. Truth is the voice that frees us. Now, truth comes in many, 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 many forms. My voice, the voice of every single religion. Not just religion, but every single aspect of life. Every amazing book you've ever read. Every piece of advice you've ever been given. It's all true. It's all credible, and you should add it to your truth. You don't just pick one and just follow it blindly and just reject everything else that comes along your way. That's not how wisdom works. That's what you need to listen for. A vision, which is the harmony between your inner self and your outer self. Stop separating the inner and outer self. Why are we putting on masks and acting like we're all in a grand play? Why? Going out, oh, I gotta act a certain way because I'm around people. What the fuck is that? So stupid. You need to make your inner your outer, and your outer your inner. It has to be one. It has to be flow. And finally, be spirit. The silence beyond the sound. People think spiritual realm is, I can't describe it. It's silent. It's not something measurable. It's not something you're going to ever experience or believe. If you hear anybody else talking about it, you must experience it for yourself. Just listen every once in a while. No noise. Not even the sound of your own thoughts. You need to listen to the sound of your own soul, the silence of your soul. Because it does have a sound, believe it or not. These aren't just my beliefs, these are the actual, literal, absolute states of tuning. These are the pillars of our universe. So when one of these pillars is out of sync, we feel lost, right? Everybody feels lost. I feel lost all the time. But when we all align, we remember that we were never separate from the music at all. We were just a little out of tune. So the director had to be like, Antonio, you sound like shit. You need to take a step back. Come back, tune your shit, come back. We'll keep playing without you, it's okay. That doesn't mean you're kicked out, you're just tuning. So my whole point of saying this and writing Auralis is not just to teach how to escape the world. There are so many other ways to escape the world that we're all familiar with, but I personally love the world. So if I tried doing that, I would be filling a bottomless pit. So don't escape the world. Hear it again. Hear every part of it. Hear what is already there. Maybe the world isn't ending like so many people are frantically panicking about. Maybe it's just returning. Every silence is a breath before the next movement. And I want us to cherish that silence before every moment. You do not know what kind of wisdom you will hear if you just stop and listen. And you will never hear wisdom if you're always listening to something. You'll never hear anything, and therefore you'll never believe. You'll never grasp anything I'm saying if you yourself do not take the time to sit with you. Sit with your thoughts and sit with your soul. When was the last time you sat by yourself for even an hour with nothing? When was the last time you did that? don't mean to ask that in an angry way. It's passion. I'm telling you to do it. So if you take anything from this transmission, let it be this. Listen beneath the chaos, because there's always music. We are all part of the song, and we're all equal parts of said song. We are all needed. We all bring different things to the table. So do not think, because you do not have a certain skill or possess a certain quality, that you are lesser or greater than the person next to you. Just be a part of the song. Fit in. Truly fit in. Live in harmony with each other. And please love one another. And until next time, stay luminous. Stay listening. Goodbye from Auralis.